Welcome to Smart City Viewpoints. I'm Jim Frazier, Vice President of Smart Cities at ARC Advisory Group. In today's podcast, we'll be listening in to a recent conversation between Wasay Rashid, ARC's own Smart Rail analyst, and David Songer, editor of the Smart Rail magazine. Without further ado, let's jump into the discussion.
Can you tell me about the ARC Advisory Group and what it does, please?
All right, lovely. So ARC Advisory Group is a global analyst firm that is offering thought leadership and research to manufacturing, energy, infrastructure, transportation, supply chain professionals worldwide. And for complex business issues that are facing organizations today, our analysts have the industry knowledge and the first-hand experience to help our clients find the best answer. So you could think of us like a research company that's into advisory services and custom and strategic consultancy. We take our customers' opinions, and then we come together with a collective solution to help them guide with their policy formation or their strategic vision. So basically, ARC Advisory Group is not your typical consulting company, but more an analyst firm. We have been in automation for the past 30 years. And now, as we see things are coming together, now we've started expanding into other domains such as transportation as well and infrastructure.
Great. Yeah. Do you have an involvement, as you just mentioned there, in the rail industry? I mean,
Yeah.
could you tell me more about your involvement in that, please?
So I'm the lead economic analyst for railways and transportation. So what I do is I analyze the industry in detail to provide technical and strategic solutions. So we work with our partners along the way so they can take strategic decisions and informed decisions in policy formation and operational decisions. I work with private and public stakeholders across the industry. Some of the topics that I'm covering in rail asset management, rolling stock signaling systems. These are my current focus, but overall in the railways, I'm covering from the linear assets to rolling stock to power asset management, more like a holistic approach towards railways.
Yeah. And what do you most like about being involved in that?
The transportation industry has always been something that I have always wanted to work in. I previously was working for Maersk Line, which is a container shipping company.
Yep.
And now I've switched to ARC Advisory Group to work in railways. What I find fascinating about transportation in general is that, transportation just makes our world go around. It connects people, connects businesses. It's a flow of people, goods, and trades, and most importantly, ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. I just looked at your LinkedIn and said you focus on intelligent infrastructure and smart cities. What more can you tell me about that?
Well, infrastructure, as you and I both know, is the backbone of world's economies.
Absolutely.
It moves peoples and goods. It powers our lives. It fuels growth. Whether it's reliable transport system, electric grids that provide a dependable energy supply, or buildings that offer space for housing or commerce, safe and efficient infrastructure is the foundation on which economy is built. Yet around the world, the infrastructure systems are coming under increased strain due to unprecedented urbanization, continued globalization, and effects of climate change. So, in addition to developing countries that are struggling to build new infrastructure, while developed countries must replace their aging infrastructure. So, let's say between now and 2030, an estimated minimum of around $50 trillion in infrastructure investments would be required to fuel global development. So, it's very crucial. And yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And look into the future then. How do you think transport will look in perhaps in a decade's time and or even beyond?
Well, it's a hard call,
A
but
chance for you to, well, you can be as imaginative as you like with this
okay.
one.
I mean, for now, like ground reality, as I can speak about industry. The industry is definitely moving forward with,
Mm,
electric vehicles. Most importantly, the second layer comes autonomous vehicle, but we still have a lot of safety issues around that. But in the next decade, I would think that these industries are focusing to shift from more fossil fuel based transportation system towards more electric and more clean energy uh, propulsion towards rails or electric cars. But what I also see, it's really important to have end-to-end clean energy. So it can't be like you're producing electricity by burning coal and then supplying the same
sure.
electricity to these to charge the batteries of these cars. We can also
Mm,
say hydrogen fuel cell technology, something that will be in the future, like hydrogen fuel powered trains, as we already saw. Alstom has already launched this short
that's
distance
right. Yeah.
train, which is a fantastic innovation. I must commend them on this. And it's almost a zero emission carbon train, so it just exhausts basically water, or like you could say condensed
Mm,
steam. And so the future of the transport industry looks bright to me, but there's a lot of work to be done because, as you can see, the ships, they're still running on heavy oil. And as long as we do not do something about that, have innovative technology, some ways of propelling your ships through salt water or whatever they sail on. I think it's still a long
yeah.
way to go. But on land transport, I would say railways so far is offering the best solution.
Mm,
And in the decades to come, I think people, and even in the European Union, they have initiatives such as shift to rail. So they're trying to promote more rail transportation as compared to other means and modes of transportation.
what would you say are the biggest challenges facing the transport industry?
I think the biggest challenging, biggest challenge that's currently facing the transport industry is also the public opinion towards these modes of transportation. Well, let's take an example of America and Middle East. So historically,
Mm,
Middle East people love their cars. They are not so big on using inter suburban trains or light rail metros. They would rather drive to their office in a car or a four-wheel drive that requires gallons and gallons of petrol or
yeah.
diesel, in comparison to rail. So I think the biggest challenge here is that the public acceptance and the public actually pushing the industries to bring new technology and innovative steps. And I think where the industry would recognize there's a certain amount of demand for a certain type of a transport, I think eventually the industry will fill in that gap. So I think right now the
Mm,
challenge is, I wouldn't say so, not so much from the industry side, but more from the public perception about sustainable transportation. But it's slowly, there's awareness campaigns going on, and people are starting to realize, what we should do or what we should not do. Like in Norway, we recently saw that the sale of electric vehicles was higher than fossil fuel based cars. So that's a good
Oh wow,
indicator.
fantastic.
But that's Norway, we don't live in Norway, or like not everybody lives
No.
in Norway. So I think one of the challenges, like I think people need to change their perception about how they want to use a certain type of transportation.
Yeah, absolutely. And while on the subject of challenges, then, what's been your biggest professional challenge so far?
I mean, my biggest professional challenge, I would say, is learning a new language. And in my case, would be German. I'm still not the best
Hmm.
at it, but I've worked through it. And life is too short to learn German. And but it's been successful so far.
Oh, good
In,
for you.
yeah, I mean, in terms of other professional challenges, I mean, also the transition from university life to the professional life, things are a bit different. You need to act in a
Yeah.
certain different manner, and, you need to be more careful what you say and, how it's perceived.
Mm.
So I think a bit of transition towards academia to more workplace setting has been slightly a bit challenging.
No, sure. No, that's a good answer. And so, just you're due to speak at Smart Rail in June. What do you think you'll cover at the event? Perhaps just give us a brief summary of what someone might look forward to.
So initially, as I spoke to one of your organizers, I was tasked to moderate a session. But I think that is still open to discussion and debate.
Oh, of
Where,
course. Sorry, I've got that wrong. Of course, where that will head.
yes.
Sure.
So I mean, so far the topic I was initially interested was regarding the rail asset management, which I don't think I'll be covering because one of your sponsor is taking that
Mm.
over, and then the organizing team has placed me into another slot. I still need to discuss with them on that, so I'm still trying to
Okay.
adjust the agenda, but as it looks like so far, I think I'll be speaking on building integrated mobility platforms in terms of comprehensive approach, where the
Okay.
growing urban population and the expected future transport needs of cities, and reducing the attractiveness of cars and supporting the development of all modes of public transport. So I think I'm going with more intermodality of using different means of transportation. There are different concepts in the market, such as podization, where you have a certain amount of pods that could be retrofitted into a rail, ferry, a
Mm.
car, or even, so to speak, in a drone. So like from door to door kind of an operation, but this is more like the
Mm.
futuristic approach. But also I think I'll be speaking about the environmental benefits of the public transportation and shared mobility and so forth.
Mm. Great. And finally, then, just to drag it back to rail a bit, just want to ask where in the world your favourite rail journey is. Do you have a?
Well, I think one of my favorite rail journeys was from Moscow to St. Petersburg during FIFA World Cup recently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting, and and so it was more like a sleeper train, and trains in Russia are not your typical trains in Europe. Like I could have said Munich to Berlin, but this was a long train, and it was pretty smooth. I
Yeah.
got to sleep, had nice tea and breakfast and everything. So
Nice.
it was a nice journey. I would like to take the Trans-Siberian Express, but it's going to take me a
Mm.
while to catch that train.
Yeah. And what game were you? You were heading to a game, were you, to watch a game?
You wouldn't believe it. I was going to watch the third place, Belgium versus England. And don't hate me, I was
Mm.
rooting for Belgium.
No, not at all. I don't blame you. I think the sensible people were backing Belgium, so don't worry about that. The good money was on Belgium.
Yeah, but I did get to see the English team, and it was a good show. The third place.
Yeah,
So it was pretty interesting. I had great fun there and
I bet.
enjoyed myself. And to my surprise, the train ride was actually included in the ticket,
That's very nice. That's a good.
initiated
That's a
by the
great
Russian
ticket.
government.
Oh, oh, fantastic! Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, great, lovely. Well, thanks again for your time, I say.
All of us at the ARC Smart Cities team hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Keep an eye out for many more in this continuing series. And don't forget to visit us online at www.arcweb.com, as well as on Twitter at Smart Cities VWPTS, Smart City Viewpoints on Twitter. So thank you very much, and we'll see you again next time.